Hi guys, in this video we're going to have a look at algebraic fractions and this time solving them. So in part 1 we looked at how we simplify them, but now because I've got an equal sign here I can actually solve them because we have an equation. So the process for doing this is always the same. If you have a denominator, in this case I've got an x and an x plus 1, I want to times everything. When I say everything I mean the 5x over x, the 6 over x plus 1 and the 2 by the same thing. So I'm going to want to times by x, everything by x, and I want to times everything by x plus 1. The reason I do that is because it will remove the x and the x plus 1 from being on the denominator. So this is how I set it up. What I do is if I'm timesing by x and x plus 1, what I do is I stick it in brackets. So I'm going to times by x, I'm going to times by x plus 1, and I'm going to times these two by this first. So I'm also going to put that in brackets as well. So there we go, I've times this by x and x plus 1. I'm then going to times this by x and x plus 1 as well, like so. And because I've times that by x and x plus 1, that by x and x plus 1, don't forget you also need to times that by x and x plus 1 as well. So times everything by the same thing to keep it equal. Okay? And the reason why we do that is, as I said before, is then we can cancel out the denominators. So here I'm timesing by x and dividing by x. So they will actually cancel out. And here I'm timesing by x plus 1 and dividing by x plus 1. So again, they will cancel out. Because if you're timesing by something and dividing, they cancel each other out. So what are we left with? Well, here I've got 5, and then in brackets x plus 1. So I'm going to expand that bracket. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5. So that's that bit. This bit here, 6 times x. That's easy, it's just 6x. And that equals, well, let's do this bit then. So x times x is x squared. And x times 1 is x. And I'm still timesing all of that by 2. So I'll expand that out and simplify this at the same time. So 5x plus 6x is 11x plus the 5. And then if I expand that, 2 times x squared is 2x squared plus 2 times x, which is 2x. Okay. Now when you're solving, especially a quadratic, so quadratic we've got the x squared in there, it needs to equal 0. So if you get something like this, you need to rearrange it so it equals 0. So what I'm going to do first of all is, because my x squared is on this side, I'm going to bring everything over to this side. So this side will be 0. So I want to get rid of that 11x. So I'm going to minus 11x from this side. And of course, I must do the same thing to this side as well, which leaves me with 5 equals 2x squared. And then 2x minus 11x is minus 9x. And then take away 5 from both sides. So 0 equals 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. Okay? Now when you get something like this, if it's non-calculator paper, chances are you need to factorize it, which is what I'm going to do for this one. However, if it's a calculator paper, you're better off just using the quadratic formula. So if you're factorizing and you can't remember how to do it, check out my factorizing video. If you can't remember how to use quadratic formula, have a look at the quadratic formula video as well. Okay, but for this one here, I can factorize it. So this would be on the non-calculator paper. So I've got my 2x squared there. Then I've got my minus 5. Now because I have a coefficient 2, I need to do 2 times minus 5, which is minus 10. I think of numbers that multiply to get to 10. So obviously I've got 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. Which one of those can I use to get minus 9? Well, 1 and 10. So to get that, I'll have to have minus 10x and then plus x, or plus 1x. So minus 10 x plus x gives me the 9x. Then I can factorize the top. So 2x will come out of that. And then 2x times what gets me 2x squared? Well, that must be x. 2x times what gets me minus 10x? Well, minus 5. And then x times what gets me x? Well, that's 1. So when I factorise this, I get 0 equals x minus 5 and then 2x plus 1. Okay, now when it comes to solving quadratics, and we've factorised it, I need to find out the value of x that makes this bracket 0. Okay, so x take away 5 equals 0. Well, in that case, x must be 5, because 5 take away 5 is 0. So then 0 times this will give me 0. So that's why it works. And the same thing here, what value of x do I need to make this bracket here 0? If you're ever unsure, like this one, that one's quite easy. This one is a little bit trickier. All you need to do is just set it equal to 0 and solve it like you would do any other equation, either using flowchart or the balance method. So if I was using the balance method, I'd take away 1 from both sides, so I'd have 2x equals minus 1. Then I'd divide by 2, so x equals minus a half. So this one here, x equals minus a half. And there are two solutions for that one there. Okay, bit tricky this time. So instead of just having an x, I've got an x plus 1 and I've got an x plus 2. But the process is still exactly the same. Because that's our denominator, that's the denominator, I'm going to times everything, so that, and that, by x plus 1 and x plus 2. So here we go. X plus 1, x plus 2 times this, plus the x plus 1 times the x plus 2 times that. And that equals the x plus 1, x plus 2 times the 2. Sorry, that's a bit squished in there, but hopefully from that you can get the idea. So why do we do that again? We can cancel it, x plus 1 and x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 2. So what am I left with? Well, I'm left with 3 and then in brackets x plus 2, so let's expand that. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 2 is 6, plus this. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 1, nearly, plus 4. Okay, and that equals, and again, I've got this here, so I might need to expand that bracket, so I'm just going to come up here and expand that double bracket. So x plus 1, x plus 2, x times x is x squared, x times 1 is x, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 1 is 2. So I'm going to have 2 on the outside, because I'm still times it by 2, and I'm expanding this bracket, which will give me x squared, x plus 2x is 3x, and then plus the 2 there. So I'm going to tidy this side up and expand this one on the next step. So 3x plus 4x is 7x, and then 6 add 4 is 10. And here 2 times x squared is 2x squared, 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. Again, just like over here, to solve the quadratic, I need to have it equal to 0. So I'm going to take everything from this side over to this side. So I'm going to minus 7x, and I'm going to minus 10. So it'll be 0 equals, obviously I'll have my 2x squared stays the same, but if I take away 7x from both sides, 6x take away 7x is minus x, and then 4 take away 10 will give me minus 6. Okay, so I haven't included those steps there, I've just done it in one lump sum. Take away 7x from both sides, take away 10 from both sides. Leaves us with this, and again, calculator, use a quadratic formula. Non-calculator, we can factorise it. So again, I can factorise it. So my 2x squared and then my minus 6. So again, I need to times these two together. Again, if you're unsure about how to do this, check out my factorising into double brackets video. That will help you. So I'm looking for numbers that multiplied to get 12. I've got quite a few here. So 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. Which one can I use to get, well, essentially minus 1x? Well, it's going to have to be the 3 and the 4. So if I have minus 4x plus 3x, that will give me my minus x. So that's the pairing I want. Factorise the top row. So 2x will come out. 2x times what gets me 2x squared? Well, that's going to be an x. And then 2x times what gets me minus 4x? Well, that's going to have to be minus 2. And then finally, x times what gets me 3x? Well, that must be plus 3. Always double check. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. Yes, it works. So when I factorise it, I have 0 equals x minus 2 in one bracket and 2x plus 3 in the other bracket. And exactly the same process as we did over here. What does x need to be to make that bracket 0? Well, x equals 2, because 2 take away 2 is 0. And this one here again, 2x plus 3, that needs to equal 0. So if you're unsure, just do a quick formula. Sorry, do a quick equation. So 2x plus 3 needs to equal 0. So solve it using the balance method. Take away 3 from both sides. So 2x equals minus 3. Divide by 2, so x equals minus 3 over 2, or minus 1.5. And then that's your other solution. Okay, so they're probably the most common ones that will come up in the exam, or towards the end of the higher paper for sure. But I've just got another 2 examples that are quite beastly, just to show the method is still exactly the same. So I'm going to get rid of this one and bring in the next one, which is this one here. So not only do I have a denominator here, I've also got it here, and I've also got it here. So this one is going to be quite a beast. But the process is still the same, times by the denominators. So let's do it. I'm going to times by x plus 3, x plus 2, and the other denominator there, 2x plus 3. And I'm going to times all that by this first one here. And I'm going to times all of these by this one as well. So take away the x plus 3, x plus 2, and then the 2x plus 3. And then obviously by that, which is 1 over x plus 2. And then that equals, again, timesing that by these 3 denominators again. So x plus 3, x plus 2, and then 2x plus 3 by that, which was 1 over 2x plus 3. You can see now why I only did one example on this page, because there's quite a bit of working. So let's cancel them out then. So I've got my x plus 3 times by x plus 3, and then cancels out with the dividing by x plus 3. Timesing by x plus 2 cancels out the dividing by x plus 2. And then the 2x plus 3 cancels out the 2x plus 3. So what does that leave us with? Well, I've got to do 4 times this. So let's expand these double brackets first. So a bit of expanding. So there's my grid. X plus 2, 2x plus 3. So expand them. So 2x times x is my 2x squared. 2x times 2 is plus 4x. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. So that's those 2 brackets expanded, but I've also got to times it by 4. So if I put 4, then in brackets, my 2x squared, 3x plus 4x is 7x, plus my 6. So that's that bit simplified. Then I take away, and again, I'm going to expand these 2 brackets there. So x plus 3, and then 2x plus 3. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, I'm timesing that by 1, so that's fine. That's just going to be times by 1, so it's just going to stay the same. So I don't need to worry about putting it on the outside, but I'm still going to put it in brackets. So 2x squared. 3x plus 6x is 9x. And obviously then plus the 9. So that's that bit. And then that all equals this simplified. So again, I'm timesing this by 1, so that's kind of irrelevant. It's not like over here where I was timesing it by 4. This I'm just timesing it by 1 like I was doing here. So I'm just going to expand that bracket, or those brackets I should say. So x plus 3 and x plus 2. So x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6, which will give me x squared. 2x plus 3x is plus 5x. And then obviously then plus the 6. Okay, so once you've got all of this, now I need to expand this bracket here. So 4 times 2x squared will be 8x squared. 4 times 7x plus 28x. And 4 times 6 plus 24. And then obviously then take away 2x squared plus the 9x plus 9, and then that equals the same thing. Okay, so now I can do a little bit of tidying. Notice I've got this and I've left this in the brackets because this is where you're going to make a mistake potentially. So I've got 8x squared, take away 2x squared. That's going to leave me with 6x squared. 28x, take away 9x plus 19x. And then 24, take away 9 plus 15. Okay, so be very careful that you are taking away each of those from this. And of course, that's still going to equal x squared plus 5x plus 6. So again, I now want to solve this, so I need to have it equal to 0. Well, I've got 6x squared here and x squared here, so I'm going to stick with the biggest one and get rid of the smallest one. So I'm going to minus x squared to both sides to have 5x squared plus 19x plus 15 equals 5x plus 6. And again, I'm going to get rid of the minus 5 by taking it away from both sides, and I'm going to get rid of the 6. So I'm going to do that in one step. So I'll be left with 5x squared. 19x, take away 5x is 14x, so I have a bit of a mind blank then. And then 15 take away 6 is 9. And again, that's now going to equal 0. So once you've got your quadratic, you can now solve it. So again, because this is a non-calculator one, I'm going to factorize it. So I'm going to come over here and factorize this. So I've got my 5x squared and my 9. And let's have a look. So 5 times 9 is 45. So I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get 45. Well, obviously I'm going to have 5 and 9, because that's what I've just done. And good with luck be as it is, 5 plus 9 will give me the 14. So happy days. So 5x and 9x, add them together, you get 14x. Obviously, if that wasn't the case, you have to find some other numbers that multiply to get 45, but that one works. Factorise the top here. So obviously 5x will come out. And then 5x times what gets me 5x squared? Must be x. 5x times what gets me 5x? Well, that's just 1. X times what gets me 9x is 9. Double check it. 9 times 1 is 9. Brilliant, it works. So my solution when I factorise this will be x plus 1 and then 5x plus 9. And don't forget, it's still equal to 0 because that's how we can then solve it. So what does x need to be to make that bracket 0? Well, x will be minus 1, because minus 1 plus 1 will give me 0. And this one here, again, if you're unsure, just form the equation and solve it. So I need to make it equal to 0. So I'm going to minus 9 to both sides. So 5x equals minus 9. Then I'll divide by 5. So x equals minus 9 divided by 5. And we're done. There are two solutions. So very much a beastly question. Definitely worth about 4 marks in the actual exam towards the end of the exam. So definitely make sure you can do these because it's relatively easy once you get the method. But also it's very easy to make the little mistakes with the negatives as well. Okay, so I've got one more beast for to have a look at, which is coming up. In this example here. So this time I'm dividing by this, my denominators are x minus 1, x plus 1, and then this one here, x plus 2 and x plus 1. So I'm going to times by everything, but luckily x plus 1 here are the same, so I only have to do it once. So let's get cracking. So x minus 1, x plus 1, and then the x plus 2. So again, just to reiterate, I don't need to worry about times by x plus 1 again, because I'm already doing it here. And I'm going to times that by this. Then I'm going to take away, and again, times everything. So x minus 1, x plus 1, x plus 2, and timesing that by this. So 2 over x plus 1. And then that equals, again, timesing everything. And then by that. Looks horrible, but it's still exactly the same process. Okay, so what can we cancel? Well, x minus 1 with x minus 1, x plus 1 with x plus 1, and then this time we can cancel two things, x plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 1, x plus 1. So again, we just simplify it. So I'm going to expand these two brackets here. So x plus 1, x plus 2. So I've got x squared plus x plus 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. Now this time I am timesing all of this by 4. So I will have it as 4, and then in brackets what my expanded brackets are, which is x squared plus 3x plus 2, so 3x is 2x plus the x. And then I'm going to take away, and again, I'm going to expand these two brackets. So let's do that. So x minus 1, x plus 2. So x times x is x squared, x times minus 1 is minus x, 2 times x, 2x, and 2 times minus 1, minus 2. And again, I'm doing 2 times this, so I'm going to have my 2 on the outside, and then my x squared, 2x minus x is just 1x, or plus x, and then minus 2. And over here, because those two cancelled out, I'm just doing 30 times x minus 1 in brackets, so I'll expand that to be 30x minus 30. Cool, we're getting somewhere. Let's expand these two. So that'll be 4x squared plus 12x. 4 times 2 is 8, minus, I will put that in brackets. Then take away this, and again I'll put this in brackets as well. So 2x squared, because 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times minus 2, minus 4, and again that equals 30x minus 30. So once you've got that, we can then obviously simplify it. So 4x squared, remember, take away 2x squared, leaves me with 2x squared. Plus 12x, take away plus 2x, that's going to leave me with plus 10x. And then 8 minus, so remember if we take away a negative, so 8 minus 4 turns into a plus, so that would be plus 12, and again that's equal to 30x minus 30. So if I want to solve it, just as before, I need to rearrange it so it equals 0. So I'm going to take away 30x from both sides, and I'm going to then plus 30 to get rid of it from here. So plus 30 to that side. So I'm going to be left with 2x squared. So minus 30x to both sides. So 10x minus 30x be minus 20x. And then 12 plus 30 will be plus 42, which will equal 0. Now in a lucky situation here, I could factorise that, but because 2 will go into 2 obviously, and 20 and 42, I'm just going to divide everything by 2, which will leave me with x squared minus 10x plus 21 equals 0. So now I can just factorise this. So I'll come over here because there's a bit more space. Bit nicer this one because it's just an x squared, there's no coefficient. So numbers that multiply to get 21, well 1 times 21, and obviously 3 times 7. So which one can I use to get minus 10? Definitely going to be the 3 and the 7. So how do I do it? Well, it's got to be minus 3x minus 7x. So minus 7x minus 3x is my minus 10x, so that's cool. So how do I get my x squared? Well, that's x, and then obviously that will have to be minus 3, because x times minus 3 is minus 3x, and x times minus 7 is your minus 7x. So let's put it back together then. So once I've factorised it, I'll have x minus 7 in one bracket, and then the x minus 3 in the other, and again it's still equal to 0, because that's why I rearranged it. So my value of x for this one must be 7, because 7 take away 7 is 0. And my one for this one, nice and easy, x must be 3, because 3 take away 3 is 0. And they're my two solutions. Okay, hopefully that helps, guys, with those examples. Looks really horrible, but the process is always the same. Always times by what you're dividing by, or what the denominators are. Cancel what you can cancel, simplify it, and then solve it. So hopefully that helps. Cheers, guys.